Hey guys, in this video we're going to be doing Bank 20 number 5. So hopefully by this point a lot of these questions are becoming repetitive and you can memorize kind of the process for doing them, and maybe you're getting more correct than you did at the beginning. So number 1 is 4 times x minus 6 over 3 equals 16. What I like to do in questions like this where part of it's a fraction is I like to make both sides a fraction by putting like the 16 over 1. And then I can cross multiply. So when I multiply by 1, that doesn't change. And then 16 times 3 is 48. And then we distribute. 4x minus 24 equals 48. And then adding 24 to both sides gives us 4x equals 72. And then dividing by 4 gives us x equals 18. Which is E. Number 2, we're asked to find the area. So what I would do is split it up, and there's a couple of different ways to split it. My first instinct was to split it right here. And so we have 2 inches by 1.25. That is an area of 2.5. And then this bottom would actually be 3.25 because we have the 2 and another 1.25. So 3.25. And then 1.25 here. When I'm doing area and I'm multiplying, I like to use decimals instead of fractions. You can still use fractions in your calculator. So if I multiply 3.25 by 1.25, we get 4.0625, and I need to add those two together. So 2.5 plus 4.0625 is 6.5625. Convert that to a fraction, and we get 6 9/16, which is B. All right, number 3, you should be so good at these and you should know exactly how to do these. He has 5 shoes, 6 pants, 5 shirts, and we're combining those. We want to know how many outfits that he has. You just multiply. 5 times 6 times 5 is 150. Number 4. 3x plus 1 squared. When you have a quantity and you're squaring it, a lot of people would say 9x squared plus 1. But you're missing part of it. You need to write it out side by side and do double distributing. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. 1 times 3x is 3x. And 1 times 1 is 1. Oops. Combining like terms, 9x squared plus 6x plus 1, which is E. All right, number 5. Hourly wage is $12. So $12 per hour. It's going to increase 6%. So if we find 6% of 12, that would be 0.06 times 12, which is 0.72. So that's the increase. So he'd be making 12.72, which is H. Number 6, the distance formula is this big, long, ugly thing. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So if we look at our points, we're going to subtract the x's. 6 minus 8 squared plus 4 minus 10 squared. And if you do all of that, that's under the square root, because notice some of your answers have a square root in them. So if you type in the square root in your calculator, you're probably going to get a decimal. So if I don't do the square root yet and I just type this part right there, 6 minus 8 squared plus 4 minus 10 squared, we get 40. So the square root of 40 is the right answer. Number 7. We're given the line 2x plus 9y equals negative 18. We want to know the slope, so we have to get it in slope-intercept form. So first thing we do is subtract 2x from both sides, leaving us with 9y equals, now in slope-intercept form, we typically write the x first. So I'm going to write it negative 2x minus 18, and then we divide everything by 9. That gives us y equals negative 2/9 x minus 2. And the slope is what's in front of the x, so negative 2/9. All right, number 8. Questions like this, I would just pick some number and test out your answer choices. So it tells us that x has to be less than or equal to 2. So let's just say that x is 1. That fits, it's less than 2. So the absolute value of 1 minus 2, that's the absolute value of negative 1, is 1. So I'm going to see which of my answer choices give me 1. It's not A. B is 1 plus 2, which is 3. So, hold on, let me go back. B is x plus 2. I said x is 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So it's not that one. C, x minus 2 is 1 minus 2, which is negative 1, not 1. D, negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, not 1. E, negative 1 plus 2 is 1, so it is E. It just so happened, it was just a coincidence that the number that I set as x turned out to be the number that I was trying to get. If I had to use like negative 5, it wouldn't have been the same. But no matter what number you used, if it was less than or equal to 2, then E would have been the right answer. All right, number 9. So we want to know the area of the shaded region. So we have a square, and in this square is a circle. That's a horrible drawing. Okay, and the radius is 1, which means that my entire length of the square would be 2. Because if the radius is 1, the diameter is 2. So I need to find the area of the square and then subtract the area of the circle. So the area of the square would be 4, because 2 times 2, my length times my width, 2 times 2 is 4. And then the area of the circle is pi r squared. So pi times 1 squared, well, that's just 1. Pi times 1 is just pi. So 4 minus pi, which is C. Number 10, this one you're just plugging into the calculator. I'm pretty sure we've had this one before. So it would be parentheses 7 plus 4 minus negative 8, close your parentheses, times 4 plus negative 8. And the right answer is negative 76. Number 11. So the average of 5 numbers is 89. So the first 4 numbers, 78 plus 92 plus 96 plus 94 plus x, we don't know that 5th number, and if we divide them by 5, that should equal 89. So average, you add all your numbers up together and then divide by how many you've got, and that should equal 89. So if I add 78 plus 92 plus 96 plus 94, I get 360 plus x divided by 5 equals 89. So we can do this one like we did the very first question. Put a 1 under there and cross multiply. When I multiply by 1, that just stays the same, 360 plus x. And then 89 times 5 is 445. And then if I subtract 360, we get x equals 85. Number 12, we have a pool that is 18 by 24. And we want to know the length of the diagonal. And we can do this by using Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And your c is always your hypotenuse. The a and the b don't matter. So 18 squared plus 24 squared equals c squared. 18 squared plus 24 squared is 900. And then we need to take the square root to find c. So the square root of 900 is 30. All right, number 13. This is x, y, and 50. And we want to know the value of x minus y. So we need to find both x and y. Well, if you think back to your geometry days, these two angles are alternate interior angles, and that means that they are the same. They're equal, they're congruent. So y would have to be 50 which means that x is 130 because these two angles add up to 180. So if we're doing x minus y, 130 minus 50 is 80. Number 14, 3c minus 2d times 2c plus d. All right. We're double distributing. 3c times 2c is 6c squared. And then 3c times d is 3cd. Then negative 2d times 2c is negative 4cd. And negative 2d times d is negative 2d squared. We need to combine these like terms to be negative 1cd. And if we look, the correct answer is H. All right, number 15. We're finding S of negative 3. So 3 times negative 3 squared minus 5. The big thing that you need to pay attention to is making sure that you're putting this negative 3 in parentheses. The squared does not go in the parentheses, only the negative 3. And the right answer is 22. All right, number 16. So we want to know what percentage of the people own exactly one type. So that would be none of the overlap. So the fish is all by itself at 45. The people that own the cats, there's only 5% that own just the cat. That's not overlapped. 15% for the dog and the 5% for the bird. So I'm only looking at the part that's not overlapping. And so that would be 70% if I add all those together. All right, number 17. Slope is rise over run. So if you just pick 2 points, for example, it doesn't matter which ones you pick. I'm picking the one that is on the y-axis, so it's on the 3. So I rise 2, run 1. So 2 over 1 is 2. All right, 18. We know that this angle is 35 degrees. It's asking us for DEB, which is over here. All right, so if these all right, sorry, I was reading. If those are parallel, then this angle and this angle would be the same. So this one has to be 35. Now, it also says triangle EBF is isosceles. And it has that EB is parallel to FB. That's not true. That should be a congruent symbol. I'm not sure why that says parallel, but that should be congruent. So if those two sides are congruent, that means that those two angles down here at the bottom are congruent. And so then these two angles add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 35, we get 145. All right, 19, almost done. We have negative 24x to the fourth y cubed over 4xy. So when we simplify this, the negative 24 over 4 is negative 6. The x's, one in the bottom canceled out with one in the top, leaving me with x cubed. And the y's, the one in the bottom canceled with one in the top, leaving me with y squared. So negative 6x cubed y squared was A. And then 20, we want to know the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. So first thing we need to do is find the slope. Negative 2 minus 7, we always subtract the y's on top and the x's on bottom. 1 minus 4. Negative 9 over negative 3 is 3. So the slope is 3. If I look through my answer choices, only answer choice G gives me that correct slope. If you have any questions, let me know.